The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving you that West Coast bias. And man, oh man, I wrote a children's book, and it's coming out in a couple months. Hit the link in the bio, okay? All in all, let's get right into it. Speaking of children's books, we might as well talk about the Pokemon catcher himself, Jake DeBrusk, in this episode, who's a healthy scratch, who's pissed off, and I'm curious to see what he does about it in a couple of games, because, again, he's not playing tonight against the Seattle Kraken. I also want to talk about Brock Boeser as well, and how maybe trading those two as opposed to trading Garland and Sherwood is the move for the Vancouver Canucks, who are, again, in a hybrid rebuild, okay? Because I know, okay? You just listen to that, and you want to slap me in the face, okay? Because you guys are on that whole trade everyone, especially the UFAs, especially the guy like Kiefer Sherwood, who's shooting at 30% or whatever it is, right? Shooting at this crazy clip, and this is the highest his peak is ever going to be when it comes to trade value. I know. But don't blame me for being a little irrational, considering that this team just said that they're going to be doing a hybrid retool, rebuild, extravaganza, boom, bam. We've never seen this before, AKA we have, AKA they're going to keep some veterans. And I'm here to tell you right now, the way I feel is that this team, if they're going to keep some people, some older players around, some skilled guys around, quote unquote, around this young core that they're trying to build, that again, I'd much rather have Conor Garland and Kiefer Sherwood than Jake DeBrusk and Brock Boeser. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, and I'll get to your comments throughout the episode, okay? Anyways, Jake DeBrusk, healthy scratch tonight against the Seattle Kraken. I'm not sure if this is the first time that this has happened to Jake DeBrusk outside of his rookie season with the Boston Bruins. Can someone confirm on that? But this guy looked embarrassed when asked about it after yesterday's practice, right? Adam Foote saying he needs a reset. Jake DeBrusk, again, pissed off, understands he's not playing good enough. But all in all, to me, didn't look that surprised, considering that, again, he knows he's been playing bad, and we all know that he hasn't been doing anything. This guy has one even strength goal in 37 games this season. One. This guy doesn't hit a thing. How many hits does Jake DeBrusk have this season? This guy doesn't play with an angry bone in his body right now. And to me, that's embarrassing. And we'll bring up Brock Boeser soon, too. But, it's embarrassing how the veterans on this team who, went into Saturday's game 6 to 7 points out of a playoff spot with 40-something games left, didn't play with any emotion. And, again, Jake DeBrusk and Brock Boeser, I guess they don't play with any emotion until the playoffs start. Because, we've seen Jake DeBrusk, play physical against the Toronto Maple Leafs year in and year out when he was a Boston Bruin. But, as a Vancouver Canuck, this guy just pads his stats on the power play and, again, doesn't hit a thing. And I would understand if, the hockey team was good and he was saving up the juice for the playoffs. Because, April, May, and June, that's a different dance, right? And he's a Boston Bruin. He's experienced. He's been to a Stanley Cup final. I believe some athletes, they know how to, save the gas tank for when the games really matter. But, Jake DeBrusk, this team needs leaders. This team signed you for 7 years. This team, probably want to rely on, again, some of your experience. And, this team needs some guys over the age of 20 years old given a puck. Right? They need some guys outside of Conor Garland and Kiefer Sherwood, some of the older guys, to be playing with some emotion. And Jake DeBrusk plays with none of that. And it's a damn shame. Just look at the film. If you can afford that NHL on Ice package, right? You can rewatch the games and whatnot. Or use Sportsnet Plus and just rewatch the film. This guy does a bunch of flybys. When it comes to him being on the forecheck or him grazing shoulders with an opposing player. He's a big body. He's a fast guy. I guarantee he's a strong guy. He doesn't want to hit a thing. He doesn't want to drag his team into the fight. He doesn't want to fight. And to me, it looks like he doesn't care. AKA, he doesn't care enough. And now he's embarrassed, and now he's pissed. And I'm curious to see what he does when he's back in the lineup, because, it has to be a lot more. This team, if they're going through a rebuild, a retool, extravaganza, 6.0, whatever you want to call this, and they have all these young players, it's inexcusable for this team to employ players over the age of 25 who are just collecting checks. It's a joke. And Jake DeBrusk should be embarrassed. It's just not good enough. And then you talk about Brock Boeser too, and it's like, does this guy have like one goal in his last 19 games? That's 20 games. Does he have like less than 5 points in those 19 games too? Or whatever the math is? What has he done post Quinn Hughes trade? And I keep bringing this up, and Jake DeBrusk gets a little bit of the pass on this because he hasn't been a Canuck for a long time. But it's the same thing I've been saying about Elias Pettersson and Connor and Brock Boeser. I'm sorry. Like, aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed that time in and time out your team is the laughing stock in the league? And now you just saw Quinn Hughes get traded. And this is what Brock Boeser's done post that trade. When this team needs a leader, when this fan base needs something to lean on, you've been one of the longest tenured Canucks on this roster, and it just looks like you're waiting for April. You're waiting for pack your stuff in a garbage bag and let's get out of here. Like, you're just collecting a check. You're waiting for a vacation. It's like you're a kid in elementary school waiting for summer vacation. That's the way Brock Boeser's playing. Like, he's given up on the season. There's 40-something games left. It's okay for me and you listening to this to, want the tank and give up on this and that and want Stenberg or whatever these guys' names are, Keegan Barrett, whatever, Gavin McKenna, all these guys playing at the World Junior Hockey Championship, okay? It's okay for the fans to want that stuff. But I don't care. If I'm watching a game with my favorite hockey team and there's 45 games left in the season and you're 6 points out of a playoff spot, and I'm seeing some of the older guys on this team just check out and not give a flying puck, it's just not good enough. It's actually pathetic. And again, it's embarrassing. You should be ashamed of yourself. Like, where's the dog in you that finally wants to, be known as a player that's on a good hockey team? Where's the dog in you that is doing the mental math in their head and is like, look at what St. Louis did last year. We could still make the playoffs. Again, I don't want that, but I'm just saying, as a player on this team with 40-something games left, I'm not talking about 10 games left. I'm talking about 40-something games left. Where's the dog in Brock Boeser? Knowing that, the math is still kind of on your side and you can make things happen if you worked a little harder. But it's clear as day that Brock Boeser, he's either gripping the stick too tight, which I don't think is the case. It's just clear as day that this guy's just waiting for the season to end. Another one of his friends gets shipped out. And it's like, the noise is too loud. It's too noisy. The country club atmosphere, it's time to check out. And that's not fair to people who are coming to the rink watching you play. And, it's not fair to the fan base that, again, is doing that math. It's not me, it's not you, but there are some fans out there that still believe there's a chance for this team to make the playoffs. I met a fan like that yesterday who got mad at some of the videos I've been making on this channel regarding some of the players on this team because, that guy's a passionate Canucks fan. He's a positive Canucks fan. He's doing the math. Again, he's looking at what St. Louis did last year. He's not thinking it's impossible for this team to, make their way up the standings and make the playoffs. And here you have Brock Boeser giving up with 45 games left. Like, these are the type of guys around the Booyums, of the world, around the Willanders of the world, around the DPDs of the world. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's pathetic. It's pathetic. Those guys screw the culture up because it shows that you're taking this for granted. It shows that you can clock out with 4 months left in the season. And remember, at the beginning of the season, Quinn Hughes telling the media, We don't have the most talented team, so we got to be the hardest working team to do something. And hard work, that's obtainable. But that comes from within. That comes because you want it more than the other team. And again, I just question why this team and some of their older players, and you can throw Elias Pettersson in this mix too. How come they're not embarrassed about what's going on? How come they're not a little angry? How come they're spending more time being angry at the fans and the media than they are at themselves? And how come they're not looking at the next 44 games or whatever as, like a chance? Again, we don't want that. We want them to tank. And I know like the odds are against them and they don't have the most talented team, but how come we're just not seeing the effort, the anger, the energy, the want? And I'm telling you, since I'm not seeing it, I want those guys off my team. If we're talking about a new regime, a new culture, you got to get guys off your team who quit 40-something games into the season. Just not good enough, man. Just not good enough. And yo, Brock Boeser, he's been around for a long time. Good guy. Yo, clutch player too. I'd love to watch more playoff games with Brock Boeser. I really would. But yo, to get into the playoffs, you got to make the playoffs. You can't just wait for April to roll around. Like, this team needs its leaders. Like, what, you're gonna expect Marco Rossi to drag this team into the fight? So yeah, I may hurt losing a couple guys like this, like Boeser and DeBrusk, because I see these guys excel in the playoffs. We've seen it in the past, but at the end of the day, like, if these guys are some of the oldest guys on your team and they're quote unquote leaders, guys around, again, the Willanders and the Booyums, it's just not good enough, and you want to get them out of here. So I'm going to throw that question to you, okay? Because I don't think Alvin's trading all these guys. I don't think they're treating Garland, Sherwood, DeBrusk, and Boeser. They want to keep some guys around. Just the way it is. They want a hybrid retool. Would you rather them keep Sherwood and Garland and trade Boeser and DeBrusk if they can get similar value back, which may sound like it's impossible, but Brock Boeser, $7+ million, 50, 60-point guy. Jake DeBrusk, career high in goals last year, still good in the power play. Like, there could be suitors in a world where the cap is rising. You just gotta, do your negotiating. And yeah, if you're gonna keep some veterans, would you rather keep Garland and Sherwood than DeBrusk and Boeser? Okay, let me know in the comments, and we'll talk more about Garland and Sherwood on the other side. One love to you and you and you and you. Happy New Year's. It's coming up. Happy holidays. Enjoy your family and your friends, and one love. We'll get to more Canucks talk on the other side. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Yes, Game Time is that place to get the best last minute tickets that you can find on the market. Guaranteed. And yo, I'm telling you right now, bro, you could probably get Canucks tickets for $20 for real. And that's with our promo code, which we're going to let you know at the end of this read. Okay. Again, Game Time, man, it gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack from unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Okay. And here's my favorite thing about this damn app. Okay. They don't lie to you, man. When you open it up and you search for what you want, and you see that number beside the ticket that you want, that's the number you're paying. Okay, you don't tap that ticket a couple times, and before you know it, you get hit with a charge and a charge and a charge. No, the number you see is the number you get. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. And they're also backed by the Game Time guarantee. Okay, you're not getting scammed. You're going to the game. Anyways, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. All right, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Boom. Did I tell you right now? Did I tell you can get Canucks tickets for like $20 right now? Just use that code, okay? Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Download it today. One more time. Download Game Time today. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Speaking of you and the people. Let's read some comments. I like this one from Garrett Ma. Yo, Garrett Ma, I missed you, man. How you doing? Okay, to move a contract like Boeser or DeBrusk, the Canucks would have to take on other teams' players' contracts, to make the salaries match. So it's like trading dead weight for dead weight. Dude, if they trade a quote-unquote goal scorer like Jake DeBrusk and Brock Boeser for a guy like Kiefer Sherwood with some term, like, I don't know. Like, I would be okay with that. I just want guys on this team going into next season around the young guys, putting the effort in no matter what. Like, if the noise is too loud or you're being emotional about losing this player, that player, and all this jazz, I get it. We're all human beings and it's 2025 and it's okay to be sensitive and blah, blah. No, you know what? I don't want guys like that on the team. When the puck drops, and we're talking about setting a culture and all that jazz and starting from the bottom, I want to have the hardest working players on my team. That is just the truth. And again, I'll say it this way, for guys and fans who are scared of like us becoming a harder working team, thus becoming a team that wins more games, dude, if we're a harder working team, like for example, on Saturday against San Jose, or if we're a harder working team against Philadelphia a couple days earlier, we're still losing those games. But it would be nice to see the highest paid players on this team hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Slash somebody. Be mad at their current predicament. Skate hard. You know, enough with all this flyby stuff. Enough of this, like, just waiting for the game to end so you can collect your check. I don't want the highest paid players on my team doing that. Anyways, next comment. And Greener saying DeBrusk's contract is very easy to move. I think it's like 5.5, right? 6 years left. Again, a good guy, good player. You want this guy in your room, probably around a winning environment. Maybe like the losing is really getting to him. I guarantee the losing is new to him as well. He's only human. He's feeling defeated, not bringing, his best of abilities onto the ice. But again, he's one of the older guys on the team, and it's inexcusable. And we've heard him. Like, we heard him go this offseason talking about like, oh, the year before he moved across the continent and things were different. And even though he had a career high in goals, he feels as if he could have been better. And now he spent the summer working hard and catching Pokemon, and he was ready to like blow up. And we've seen a way worse version of Jake DeBrusk this year. For real. That is just the truth. And I wonder how much a lot of this has to do with Elias Pettersson too, and Quinn Hughes to an extent. Again, Quinn Hughes quit on the team with 25 games left in the season. That sets the tone. For real. When your captain, aka one of the GOATs, quits, it's defeating. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. But again, with Elias Pettersson, your highest paid player. Last year and the year before, that like 115 game stretch or whatever it was pretty pathetic. He looked defeated. He didn't look positive. He didn't have the energy. He was a guy that was collecting checks. Sure, he was fighting through it and trying to climb his way back. And again, we're all human, but this is the NHL. And just enough with having our highest paid players being emotional / being inconsistent with their effort. Again, we can talk about DeBrusk having 1 goal in his last like 12 or 13 or 14 games, whatever it is. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Even Evander Kane and Conor Garland, they got like 1 goal in their last like 14 or 15 games too. Boeser, 1 goal in his last like 19 games or whatever it is. Yeah, it sucks that those things are happening, but to me as a fan, 32 and a half years old, I get more ashamed at the effort and the lack thereof. Can somebody hit somebody? Can somebody be mad at the fact that they're an embarrassment once again in Vancouver? Speaking of hitting somebody, Kiefer Sherwood. I heard that Colorado scouts were at the game on Saturday. Colorado could really use Kiefer Sherwood. That would be cool. He could bounce up and down your lineup, do some things, and he could also, in my opinion, annoy Quinn Hughes in a playoff series. Right? Colorado, Minnesota. That's probably going to happen at some point. And man, oh man, Kiefer Sherwood is going to not injure Quinn Hughes, but he's going to hurt Quinn Hughes, if you know what I'm saying. Sorry, I watched Don Cherry growing up. And if there's, a guy that's probably mad about his captain quitting 25 games into the season or whatever, it's probably Kiefer Sherwood. Guy seems like a gamer. Guy bleeds blue and green, right? So he would want to get his lick if, again, he got traded to, any team in the Central or any team that potentially would match up against Quinn Hughes. That would be interesting. And yeah, sure, some people think we might get a first-round pick for this guy. I want to wait and see on that. I think there's a small chance. I don't even know if Colorado has a 2026 first-round pick. Dude, if Colorado wants Kiefer Sherwood, I'm doing the math, and I'm looking at when Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon are retiring, and I'm asking for that first-round pick, the 2038 first-round pick. Let's go after that one for Kiefer Sherwood, okay? That way my kids, they could win the lottery sometime down the road, or you'll better their chances. All jokes aside, let me know right now in the comments. I want to read a couple of comments. Let me just ask you this comment on the live show, okay? And let us know in post on the YouTube comments or on the Spotify comments, okay? Would you be mad at the Vancouver Canucks if they signed Kiefer Sherwood, kept him around, gave him a bit of a leadership role, but they also, again, at the same time, traded Boeser and DeBrusk so you could be happy with, obtaining some assets this year? Because I think I would. That would be bold. And again, you're still getting pieces for your futures by pulling the rug under all the Brock Boeser and Jake DeBrusk fans in Vancouver. And yeah, they probably got no trade clauses, but come on. This team sucks. You guys are doing nothing. It's time for a fresh start. Just have that tough conversation and make it happen. So yeah, let me know. Would you be okay if the Vancouver Canucks kept Kiefer Sherwood? If that, meant you'd be satisfied with obtaining draft picks via a trade for Brock Boeser and Jake DeBrusk. Okay? Greener with a good comment, always coming up with the fire. If you can get a first for Kiefer Sherwood this year, you do it all day, every day. I love the guy. He's a playoff guy, and we're a few years away from doing that. So give the guy a chance to play for a cup. Good comment, okay? Attitude, or am I saying that right? Attitude is saying I would be disappointed. I guess you want to capitalize on the Kiefer Sherwood lore ASAP, which again, it's fair. It's fair. And Adam Splitting Signs is saying, keep Sherwood, especially if you could unload Boeser and DeBrusk. Okay. A bit of a mixed bag. I see some other comments too regarding this topic. Maybe we'll end the show on them. But I do want to bring up one more player. How about Garland? There's been news. There's been noise. Conor Garland, the best player out of all these guys by a mile. Conor Garland, who maybe a game or two after the Quinn Hughes trade looked emotional, looked checked out. I was getting emotional about it. It was an emotional week for me. I can't afford therapy. I was taking shots at Conor Garland. But let's be honest and let's be real. This guy signed an extension to stay in Vancouver, and for the most part this year, he's been our best player. And, we saw it on Saturday. Maybe he was happy to be back home, but he seemed happy to be on the ice again, doing the most for the Vancouver Canucks, willing this team to get close. Yes, close to beating the San Jose Sharks. And I look at a guy like Conor Garland, too, for the most part, outside of, a couple games after the Quinn Hughes trade. He's a guy that just tries his ass off game in and game out. And I keep thinking about the culture of this team and how it's going to change and what's got to be the tone and what's got to be the identity of this team. And I think at the bare minimum, and you kind of saw this with the Vegas Golden Knights when they got their expansion team, right? At the bare minimum, I want this Vancouver Canucks team moving forward for my friends and family and for my people over here on the West Coast, the best coast of Canada, and for Canucks fans all across the globe. I don't know how that's the case, but there's Canucks fans all across the globe. I want those guys and those women and those people to cheer for the hardest working team in the league. I want to start there. 55 years, no cup. We haven't done anything right. So can we start at the bottom and work our way up and do so with just like sheer grit, determination, and hard work? Like, could that be the identity for the next 10 to 20 to 30 years of the Vancouver Canucks? Can we start there? And Conor Garland never takes a shift off when he's at his best. And again, for the most part in his career as a Vancouver Canuck, the effort is always there. And as one of the older guys on the team, I like that. I like that. It's refreshing. And let's be honest, he gets paid half the dollars that Elias Pettersson gets paid, but via skill, he does more than Elias Pettersson. He's been doing more than Elias Pettersson over the last 100 games. And via his effort, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. It's crazy, but I'd rather have Conor Garland on this team long-term than Elias Pettersson. I just want hard-working guys who don't make excuses, who don't let the noise get in the way. So we'll read the comments on the other side regarding, again, Sherwood and Garland. But would you be okay? Again, it's a hybrid retool. That's why I'm bringing it up too. You may be pissed off at me for bringing up this topic, but Patrick Alvin went on Amazon Prime and said, this is a hybrid retool. Right? So some of these guys are staying, whether you like it or not. And I wonder if there's a chance that it's Boeser and DeBrusk going and they keep Garland and Sherwood. So let me know on the other side how you feel about that. We'll just finish off the show with some comments. I don't know. Let me know what you got for Christmas or all that jazz. And I don't know, if you want to ask about my children's book that's coming out in a couple months, go ahead. Link in the bio for more info. Follow me on Instagram. We've been posting a lot about it. And go Canucks go. Again, you're watching Locked On Canucks. People, we back doing this. And again, that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Man, oh man, let's read some comments regarding everything that we just talked about. Again, here on Locked On Canucks. That's broadcasting, man. I like this comment from Attitude, okay? They all want to retire and settle in Vancouver like it's a vacation. Like, is that like the DeBrusk energy, the Boeser energy? Like, this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's one of the most expensive places in the world, but you're a millionaire. You're like in the 0.1%. It's a luxury being here. We got such great restaurants, good people, right? Downtown smells like Gotham and piss sometimes, but we'll clean that up. Don't worry, we're getting there. Link in the bio again. We're trying to get there. But I've heard, people in the music industry talk about this too, and how it's hard for, entrepreneurs and the arts to succeed here in Vancouver unless they move elsewhere because of how relaxing it is here in Vancouver. Like, it always feels like a vacation. Man, maybe Boeser is always, again, checking in and checking out like it's a hotel, or he's cashing in his checks. I don't know. Anyways, next comment. I like this comment from Greener, okay? Conor Garland, okay? And Greener also said something about trading Conor Garland because he looked checked out after, right here. Garland's last interview was sad. He looked and sounded like a guy who doesn't want to be here. I think he's referring to the same one that I saw, 10 days ago, right? I felt defeated watching that. That was after a win, too. But I don't know. Something on Saturday, I'm taking that hit of the recency bias. Again, when you don't see Brock Boeser, who's getting paid more than Conor Garland, and Jake DeBrusk give a puck, like, there's no physicality in their game. There's no grit in their game. And you see Garland doing whatever it takes to retrieve a puck and make a play. I don't know. You get enamored, man. And this guy's like, what, 5 foot something? For real, man. Anyways, next comment. Son saying, I'd rather have Sherwood than DeBrusk. And then he makes a comment about Pokemon. Jake DeBrusk, man, not being a good ambassador of Pokemon, okay? And athletes this year. I'll tell you that much, okay? That is just the truth. Mother Knucker also saying, sign Kiefer Sherwood for more than 3 years makes 0 sense if we are on a hybrid retool and he ain't signing for less than 3 years. That is fair, man. A journeyman guy. He's worked his ass off. He's done the most. Now he's turning himself into like a pretty outlier like a player, right? A 20-goal guy, hits everything, energy guy, will be fun in the playoffs. He wants to cash in. Yeah, you're right. He probably wants 5 years, but yo, would you be okay if they gave him 4? Would you be okay if they gave him like more responsibility as a leader? Would he embrace that? Like, imagine him going through his whole NHL career and playing for this AHL team and that AHL team and that NHL team and that NHL team, all to come to Vancouver and ultimately like find himself in a position where he could be a leader on a team and a Canadian team. Like, if he's a hockey nerd, that's pretty cool. For real. And again, I'm a big Kiefer Sherwood guy. I'm not going to get mad if they trade him. I'm just bringing this theory up. And again, if it's a hybrid retool and they're keeping some players, I would just rather them keep Garland and Sherwood than Boeser and DeBrusk. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, next comment. McDeasy is saying Garland is an overpaid third liner. Garland needs to be the first to go because of his contract or his new one about to kick in, right? He's going to make like, what, $1 million more or something? That makes sense too. Again, Garland has what? I'm bragging about the guy today. Garland has 1 goal in his last like 12 or 13 games. Like, he's a 50-point guy. I just like the effort. I just like the effort, man. Right? Can we end on this comment? This is, again, I met a guy yesterday at a party or little gathering, my bad. And he was just so mad at me, talking all this smack about like how I shouldn't be bullying Elias Pettersson, quote unquote, right? How I'm wrong on Elias Pettersson, how Elias Pettersson lost Andrei Kuzmenko. What do you expect him to do post Andrei Kuzmenko, right? Let me ask you this question before we get out of here. I want a couple answers. Who would you rather have on this team, Conor Garland or Elias Pettersson right now? Yeah. Just let me know. Anyways, more comments. This is a really interesting comment, okay, from Sensei saying, who would you want to see now that Quinn Hughes is gone? Kiefer Sherwood is now the one you like to watch, straight up. Okay, so you spend $24 to go to a Canucks game now, and Kiefer Sherwood's running around hitting things, even going into next season if they extend him. Like, in the game of hockey, that physicality, that POS, him chirping, it's fun to watch. And again, Sherwood's not a superstar. And I don't know if he necessarily drags like people out of their houses to go buy tickets and pay for $15 parking per 30 minutes to go, again, watch the Canucks. But, there is a bit of an excitement to him. Like, this sounds crazy, but there is a lot of face value to Kiefer Sherwood too. Good looking dude, again, does the most, always chirping. And maybe you put him in front of the cameras more as a leader. There's more relatability there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want some of that. As this commenter is saying, he's a superstar in my heart. That's hockey, okay? Again, could Kiefer Sherwood be like a good bridge between the player and the fan, considering his journey and the way he plays? It'd be refreshing. Again, we're not winning a cup with this guy. I'm just saying, it'd be different. Instead of having like these highly skilled guys who are soft and get emotional and just close off and get mad at the media, thus, frowning every time they're in front of the camera and communicating with the fan base. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's answer that question I asked a minute ago, okay? And then we'll end off the episode. Okay, who would you rather have, Garland or Pettersson, okay? One commenter is saying Pettersson. CC73 is saying Garland, okay? Webhead is saying Garland. Greener is saying Petey. Ricky is saying Petey. McDeasy is saying trade them all. Jazz Color is saying Petey. Adam is saying Petey. Jim is saying Garland. One guy gets paid 11.6, the other guy gets paid 6, and it's a 50-50 split. Look, I'll say this to end off the episode, okay? Elias Pettersson, he's had a stronger year this year. There's been points where like his effort is really high. I think there's no excuses for like the next 44 games. he's got to be the hardest working player. I don't care if it's 5-1. I don't care if the team's lost 5 straight games. You owe it to the fan base to do whatever it takes to make sure you're optimal shift in and shift out, because your contract is kind of impossible to trade. You're not going anywhere. But don't let the losing get in the way of what you should be doing for the fan base and what you should be doing for the Williams and the Willanders of the world on that team. Like, again, no excuses. DeBrusk, Boeser, whatever, $6 million, $7 million, $5 million player, whatever. You're getting paid 11.6. All this noise has been around this team for years and years. Everyone's gone now. You're one of the last guys left. No excuses. No excuses. Elias Pettersson, shift in and shift out. You got to bring it. That's what I'm watching. And if you don't bring it, I'm finding any way to trade you. I'm trading you for some KFC. I'm sorry. Because, again, around this new era of Vancouver Canucks hockey, around the Williams in the world, I don't want the highest paid guys being, again, that emotional, that soft, and just not bringing it. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us a space to give you the West Coast bias. Let me actually show you something, okay? Let me show you something. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I'll show you some of the stuff we're working on with the children's book, okay? Okay, I'll make some digital assets to advertise this, but this is the book I'm talking about. It's called How to Fly. Shout out to the homie Adrian and Sahil for helping on it. I got some pages here. Let's see what I got here. Oh, there's another one, and now everything's fallen. It's going to be a really, really fun book for you and your children to read, or you and your nephews and nieces to read. It's about a star that wants to become a shooting star, okay? And it's coming out in a couple months. We've been working hard on it at the studio. Link in the bio. There was one character actually named after a Canucks legend. Well, I mean, there still is a character named after a Canucks legend. So, we got some of that West Coast bias in there. Hit the link in the bio. Sign up to be on, like, somewhat of a waiting list. And, follow me on Instagram at Kyle Bowen, okay? We got to think about the future, man. And we're going to feed the streets with this book, okay? So link in the bio again. Go Canucks, go. And enjoy the game tonight. I think there's a small chance we won't do the post-game show today. I'm still in the mood of seeing friends this holiday season, and Trevor's with his family in Alberta. But if it does happen, we'll let you know in the Discord and here on YouTube, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching. Go Canucks, go. And, if you're a Canucks player, work your ass off. No excuses.